Welcome to the coming apocalypse. Evangelist and pastor Paul Begley will take you on a journey into the end times prophecy. He'll examine current world events. Welcome to the coming apocalypse. Evangelist and pastor Paul Begley will take you on a journey into the end times prophecy. He'll examine current world events and explain how they relate to the end times. For decades, Pastor Begley has provided people all over the world with an understanding of today's world events from a biblical perspective. Now, here's your host, Pastor Paul Begley.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Everybody calm down. Just everybody calm down and get some coffee, because we're living in the last days, and we are absolutely got some unbelievable information for you as the beast is about to rise. The 10 nations, the 10 toes, the 10 kings, we're starting to see the formation of it, and they're doing it absolutely formally now. And I want to break that information to you. Get some coffee, everybody. I actually... I just want to get into this stuff. It's just so much happening so fast. So you're going to need your Bibles today. You're going to want to be over in Daniel chapter 7 and Daniel chapter 2, and you're going to want to be in Revelation 13 today. We got some information we want to share with you, some of which we discussed with Dr. Irvin Baxter yesterday, but in the car riding around with him, and before we did a couple television shows that are going to air soon. Matter of fact, I did 4 television shows since I've been in Dallas that are going to air on Irvin Baxter's broadcast all over Christian television, every network he's on. So they'll be back to back to back to back for 4 straight weeks. So there's some really good stuff. Well, let me just tell you what's going on here right now, because first of all, the Bible talks about these kings and these kingdoms that will rise. But Nebuchadnezzar had a dream that when he had the children of Israel were held in captivity in Babylon, and he had a dream that he could not understand. Okay, he could not understand the dream, and so he called in all of his soothsayers and his astrologers and all of his, psychics and everybody in the occult, and to said interpret the dream for him, and none of them could. So then they were about ready to get killed, and they said, hang on a minute. There's a guy named Daniel. He's a Jew who has the Spirit of God, has the ability to understand visions and dreams. Let us bring him in and let him help us. And so the king agrees, and Daniel wants prayer. First of all, before I get any further in that, I just about forgot. I got to get a shout out real fast to noblegoldinvestments.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestments.com. Colin Plume, his wife just had twins. That's a Christian company, family owned. And if you've just retired and you're saying, okay, I got a 401k here and I want to roll over, I want to diversify it, or I want to, maybe you have an IRA or an insurance policy, or maybe it's some type of annuity, or maybe you just sold some property, or you just got some inheritance or whatever. Get a hold of noblegoldinvestments.com. Okay, that's www.noblegoldinvestments.com. And stem up. It is time to regenerate those adult stem cells in you. We're not talking about now aborted babies. No. None of that embryo stem cells. No. This company, Stem Up, takes natural, organic plant extracts, makes little tablets that you can take that stimulate your adult stem cells. Because when you get to age 65, you lose about 90% of your stem cells' ability to regenerate. That's why you're slower in getting healed and the aging process. But if you can stimulate those adult stem cells and get back about 30% of that, you heal quicker, you feel better, and you can stay younger. Okay, all right? And 57, I'm 57. That might be the new 37 if I can just keep myself going. All right, praise the Lord. I give all the glory to Jesus Christ. But check it out. That's stemup.com. All right, guys, here's what's going on. Daniel tells us that Belshazzar had this dream, and I want to quickly read this before I get into all the current events. And the Bible says in Daniel 2 that when Daniel came in, he also received the dream, and he's able to interpret it and tell the king what it means. This is amazing. And here's what it says. In Daniel 2, verse 31, Daniel says to the king, "Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible." It was frightening, in other words. "This image's head was of fine gold, its breast and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of brass, and its legs of iron, and feet part of the iron and part of clay." It was referring to some ancient kingdoms of that day that he saw. Okay, the Babylonian Empire certainly would have been the empire at the top, which had the golden head. And so, of course, you had the Grecian Empire in there. You had the Roman Empire in there. So, look, there was no question these empires, ancient empires of the time, were involved in these, in this statue. But as it got down to the legs, it had legs of iron, and then the feet were made of iron and clay mixed. All right, and Daniel breaks it down for him and helps him understand that these are kingdoms. But then the Bible tells us later in the book of Daniel, Daniel has a vision himself in Daniel 7, which he sees different beasts. And these beasts he sees are the beast of the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the fourth beast being the kingdom, the beast kingdom. Some people have been confused about those old empires in Daniel 2 and these last day empires in Daniel 7. And the Lord even tells Daniel what he saw in the dream was for the latter days. He tells him that. It's for the latter days. So Daniel realizes that he's seeing an end time kingdoms, the modern day kingdoms of the last days, which are not the Grecian Empire. Of course, the Grecian Empire or the Persian Empire of that time, it's not is dominant. Okay, so those empires, Babylonian Empire's gone. So, okay, we're not talking about them. The Roman Empire's gone. The Babylonian Empire's gone. The Grecian Empire's dead. It's over. Okay, so we're talking about 4 different kingdoms, 3 main kingdoms conglomerating into one and having these 10 horns growing, or they also could resemble the 10 toes. So who are the 10 toes, or who are the 10 kings? Well, this is what we're going to discuss here a little bit later in the broadcast. We're going to get right into that because we want you to understand that in the last days, there is going to be all kinds of confusion. And this is partly what the devil wants to do. Someone's saying there's an explosion in Texas. I'm not sure. Sun on the drilling rig, train track explosion. So let me do a quick, does somebody have a link on this that you can share with us right now? Does somebody have a link to help us on this? Give me 1 second here. We're looking here. They're saying that a drilling rig and a train track explosion happened somewhere in Texas. I'm going to, give me 1 second here. I'll take a quick peek. 1 second, everybody. Seems like everything is going real slow here. Oh, it looks like my chat room's not even working here for some reason. I don't know what that is. Missy D says, "Are we serious, Pastor?" Yes, we are, Missy D. Okay, maybe it's here. So there's been some kind of explosion. Let's see if I can find real fast. I'll get this to you guys. In Texas, give me 1 moment. This is breaking. Fertilizer plant. Oh my, it's, wait a minute. No, that happened. Here it is. 2 minutes ago, it just happened. Brock, you can look this up. It's in Crosby Freeway. Fills the sky with thick column of smoke. There's been an explosion off the Crosby Freeway in Texas. You can look it up, Brock, if you go to Texas. There it is. I see the smoke rolling. It is breaking news. Crosby, Texas. Emergency crews are responding right now to a reported explosion off the Crosby Freeway. This is just 6 minutes ago. The nature of the explosion not yet confirmed. Residents report seeing thick columns of smoke rising in the air just off the Crosby Freeway somewhere in Texas. And I'm not even sure which city this is in. Is it in Houston? I think it may be Houston. So we're going to find out what's going on. Thank you guys for what's taking place. Something's happening right now in Texas, another major explosion. Christine Burton says it was on a video chat with my son on the rig, and there was an explosion. Men were drilling on a rig. Okay, Christine. So Christine was actually on video chat with her son. Was your son working on the rig, or was he just nearby? Can you give us some, can you chat that in there for us? Crosby's near Houston, so thank you. It's off the Crosby Expressway, so it's probably near Houston, Texas. And yes, Christine Burton is saying, yes, she was talking to her son on a video chat. He was on the rig when there was a major explosion. Have you still got contact with him, Christine, or is he was the feed disconnected? So it just really seems like we've got a serious situation developing down in Houston. Christine Burton's son was on the rig when the explosion took place. We can see the thick black smoke rising in the air there off the Crosby Expressway. He was working on the rig. It looks like a train track. They're going on emergency right now. Okay. So thank you, Christine. We will keep a close eye on it. Brock will continue to take a peek at that as well. But be careful, Brock. Don't lose your feed. Okay? Don't lose the feed. So we'll continue to watch and see what's going on. I'll monitor it as well. So, Brock, maybe you take care of the... Okay. We'll come back to that. Meanwhile, I want to welcome all of you here. Again, we have a major, massive explosion at a plant in Crosby, Texas, just outside of Houston, where Christine Burton's son was on a video chat with her at the time the explosion happened. I've already seen pictures of black smoke roaring into the sky, so definitely something has happened in Crosby, Texas. Guys, let's check the earthquake map real quick here to see what's going on in earthquakes around the globe. There's been 37 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. We're praying for your son to be fine, Christine. In Jesus' name, we just pray protection upon him and those that are involved in this. There was a 6.0 mega earthquake that hit Miraculous out in the middle of the ocean there about almost 24 hours ago. There's been some 5 in Alaska. There's been several quakes in Puerto Rico, Alaska, and stuff like that. A 4.6 in Indonesia. A 4.9 in Alaska, pretty strong right at that volcano. A 4.9 Indonesia, another 4.3 Alaska, a 4.4 earthquake hitting Chile pretty deep. A 4.2 in Russia. Some smaller quakes, Hawaii, British Virgin Islands, 3.0 in Victoria, British Columbia, and there in Mexico, it's called Guadalupe, Victoria, BC, Mexico. There was a 5.0 that hit Papua New Guinea, a 5.1 in Indonesia, some more smaller quakes. So really kind of quiet in the earthquake world in the last 24 hours. Not too bad. We'll continue to monitor the earthquakes. As far as the speed of the wind on the solar winds on the sun, they're pretty normal at 363 kilometers per second. So we're not too worried about that. There's going to be a lot of different signs in the heavens. There's only been 8 fireballs that broke through the Earth's atmosphere the last 24 hours, so that's normal as well. And in the asteroid map, we see that today there's going to be 2 asteroids. One is definitely going to miss us. It's asteroid 2019 FN1. It will miss us by 8.5 lunar distance. But the other one is asteroid 2019 FT2. That one is going to come close to the Earth, but it won't hit us. It will miss us by 2.4 lunar distance. No danger there. We're going to be okay on asteroids, unless we get hit with something we don't know is coming. Like Gainesville, Florida had Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Didn't see it coming. Wasn't on the map anywhere. Here it comes. Boom. Just outside of Gainesville, Florida. Okay. Now, it was small enough that it didn't do any damage reported. So, you never know what's going to happen. All right. But that's what's going on in the space weather around the world. There's been an explosion, as we said, over in Crosby, Texas. Looks like some type of oil rig. And the black smoke is rolling. Christine Burton's son on the rig. He was on the phone doing literally a video chat with her when the explosion took place. And so we continue to pray for him and others that are there. Emergency crews are on the way. We do not know the situation. It's outside of Houston, so we're going to keep a close eye on it. Are the waves of energy causing a lot of this? The explosions in China lately, the explosions in Texas lately. Again, Mike around the world said these things are going to happen. Oh, it's not on the rig. It was behind them. Okay, thank you, Christine. That's encouraging. That's very encouraging. So the explosion was not on the rig, but it was behind the rig, what looks like over in the train track area. All right. We'll keep a close eye on that. It's off the Crosby Expressway. We know that, according to reports by the news. Talk about apocalyptic things happening. Talk about a wild thing. Did you guys see this water tornado? A water tornado in Malaysia. What? This thing was looks like something from a feature film, an apocalyptic movie or something. I mean, this thing was incredible. Are you serious? Look at this. Are you serious? Look at this thing. It's a monster. And it was coming right for those big condos. Now, before it got there, it destroyed about 50 homes, tore the roof off a bunch of other houses, really doing tremendous amount of damage. And then just before hitting that big skyscraper there, it dissipated, like it went into thin air. I mean, people were running for their lives. People were trying to get down the stairway, and the elevator shafts were jammed. They could see it coming out their windows, but there were still lots of people inside that big condo skyscraper there, and they were not going to be able to get out. There was no way to get them out in time. This thing dissipated at the last second, just like it went back up into the heavens or something. It was stunning, miraculous situation. You're looking at actual video of it, or excuse me, actual pictures of it. Just an insane situation. Water tornado, apocalyptic there in Malaysia, and just that was crazy. I mean, what? Are you serious? But wait, there's more. Besides that, there was another strange situation in St. Petersburg, Russia, at a military academy. Some kids dropped, or somebody was messing around with an old World War II shell, and the thing exploded. 3 people are injured severely at a military academy in St. Petersburg, Russia. So it happened at a military school. 3 injured as the old World War II shell exploded. Okay, so you had that strange situation. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the 3 people were injured in the blast right there. Speaking of Russia, we do have some information. Benjamin Netanyahu, we told you last night, first of all, he had the Brazilian president with him, and the Brazilian president went down to the wall to pray at the Western Wall with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But also we know that Benjamin Netanyahu made a very urgent phone call to Russia's President Vladimir Putin. And the discussion had to do with bilateral issues. I assumed that maybe potentially it could have had something to do with Brazil and Venezuela and Russia setting up attack helicopter school in Venezuela. There's no doubt there's some tension in that. But we also know that Brazil's going to move their embassy to Jerusalem. But we also know that Brazil, while in Israel, while they're in Jerusalem with Prime Minister Netanyahu, confirmed that, yes, the Golan Heights belongs to Israel. But there you can see Putin very concerned, because what we found out today, why he's so concerned on this phone call, it's because Netanyahu is saying, look, we have identified an Iranian outpost in Syria too close to Israel, way too close. We didn't know it existed. You know it existed. And we're telling you that thing's got to go away. And I think what Netanyahu was probably saying to Putin, we're going to fly in there and blow the thing up. And it's apparently it's a big outpost. And Putin's probably been on the phone already with that man, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani. So what I think Israel is saying, don't shoot us when we come in there to blow this thing up. And you might want to tell the Iranians to get their troops out of there. Because it's not going to be there. It can't stay. So there was an urgent phone call to Vladimir Putin from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the Iranian outpost that has just recently been discovered. And I think what's happened here is Russia's got some S-400 missile defense system. And I know Israel can get around those, but those are pretty good. Israel don't want to get a plane shot down by the Russians, who may be defending this Iranian outpost. And also, Israel don't want to start a Middle East war. I mean, they don't want to start World War III. And who knows if the Iranians are going to leave or not. And who knows what Putin said to Netanyahu. But the information has come out, the discussion. So remember last night I was saying we were all trying to speculate what was the discussion about, because we heard it happened big time. And then today, Israeli press came out and said, we're going to tell you what happened. So I don't know what's going on. Everybody wanted to know what in the world's that phone call about. Now they're letting us know Iranians got an outpost, and Israel's not going to let it stay there. So Israel's sending a message to the world. We're not playing games. That thing's not going to stay there. We've called Russia. We've warned Russia. If we go in there and blow it up, and you hear a bunch of people getting killed, don't blame us. We made the call to Russia. We told them to get out of there. We even let the world know that we knew. So that's what's happening here. Netanyahu is clearing the path, letting everybody up front so nobody don't come around condemning us again. That's what's going on, folks, because Netanyahu doesn't play games. He's a lot like President Trump. They just don't play games. So we're going to see what happens there in that. But that's what that phone call was about. That is what it was about. And oh, by the way, what in the world happened yesterday with the airlines? Did you guys hear this? The chaos, the confusion, the glitch. What? Glitch? Did you say glitch? But American Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, and several other airlines, all of their systems across the whole country had a glitch, and the glitch was over the weight of the planes. There were planes already on the runway getting ready to leave when they were said, sorry, can't take off. You got to come back to the gates. We got to reweigh you. There was a glitch in the system. And I'm not talking about just one airline. I'm telling you, every major airline in every airport across the entire country had a glitch. You talk about chaos. You talk about confusion. Are you serious? Are you serious? Insanity. Now, it got repaired. It got fixed. But what's going on? Is somebody hacking and whacking and attacking and messing with the U.S. I mean, How do you have these kinds of glitches? Every major airline, everybody is the beast testing the system? Martha says, sounds like it. Does sound like an attack, Richard Reynolds. I agree with you. Are you serious? What? I mean, come on, guys. This thing's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It's going to get worse. Oh, believe me, it's going to get a lot worse. I got some information to share with you here in just a second. Quickly here, Brexit. Is it an exit? Is it a Brexit? Well, now they're saying there's a 90% chance there will be no Brexit deal. So what's that mean? Is there going to be a Brexit? No deal. I think the reason there's not going to be a deal is because they never, ever intended on leaving. I truly believe that Theresa May was sent in there to stall, to never sign a deal, but to do what's called a hard Brexit, where you just say we're out, but you're not really out because you got all these other deals that you're signing that keeps you in. And then you could say, well, we never did sign a deal that we left. So you can always say, well, we're still here because we never did actually leave. But you can tell your constituents in the United Kingdom that, well, we left. We just left without a deal. No. I mean, and so basically, Theresa May, and I'm getting information that she and Angela Merkel, they're kind of joined at the hip here, and that they might have said they brought her in to get them out of the EU, but she hadn't. I don't think she had any intention, folks. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think she had any intention of ever signing a deal to leave the European Union. I think she did her job. 3 years of stalling. Now she'll go away, a new person to come in, and then they'll say, we're declaring we've Brexited. It's a hard Brexit. We didn't sign no deal. We're just out. But you're not ever out. This European Union, this globalization, this beast kingdom that is going to rise, whether we like it or not, it is going to rise. It's just unbelievable that what's going on here. And the European Union is England part of the 10 horns? That's the question JM is asking, and I'm getting ready to answer the question. And again, when I get ready to tell you these 10 nations that make up the 10 toes, apparently this is what it is. And as Dr. Baxter and I had a major 3-hour discussion on this, and we did research. Well, first of all, we were driving in a car having major discussion about world leaders and the beast kingdoms and stuff. And we had different opinions and coming at it from different angles. But then we got back to his office and we shut the door, and for the next 2 hours we dug in. We did into research. We broke out books from the libraries that he has, and we Googled stuff, and we started pulling things together and from our information we both have and sources. And there's something that happened, folks. There's something that happened. And so you just hang on just a second. I'm going to bring that to you in just a moment. But first, let me tell you what else is going on. AOC. We can't forget. You can't really have a show anymore without an update from AOC. That's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Check this out. She has just made a proclamation that there's going to be a man-made climate change apocalypse, and the world will end in 12 years unless the Green New Deal is adopted and completely change the entire world order. What? She's saying the world will end in 12 years. The sky is falling. The rooster says, and they call me crazy. Well, here's the deal. What she's saying is, and what also I guess Beto is saying and some of the others, is that if we don't completely adopt a climate change Green New Deal initiative that is so radical, that all this carbon in the air from all the exhaust pipes and from all the factories and the power plants and cow farts and airplanes and all of that stuff, that it's going to cause the world to come to an apocalyptic end. Man is going to bring the apocalypse, not God. She's not talking about God. She's not talking about the Bible. She's not talking about Bible prophecy. She's not talking about any of that. She's talking about an apocalypse caused by global warming due to carbon footprint of humanity. A man-made climate change apocalypse. She's not talking about Nibiru. She's not talking about Planet X. She's not talking about the 5 waves of energy. She's not talking about the radiation levels increasing from outer space upon the Earth. She's not talking about the earthquakes, the asteroids, the meteorites. She's not talking about the sinkholes. She's not talking about the volcanic eruptions. She's not talking about wars and rumors of wars. She's not talking about nuclear bombs. She's not talking about any of those things. She's saying that we have to avoid a carbon apocalypse. We have to save the world. If we don't go in, she's calling this basically a man-made carbon apocalypse from climate change, okay? And so, what? Again, just giving you an update. I'm telling you what she's saying. I'm just telling you what she's saying, and then I'm telling you what the Bible says, okay? And then so you can figure it out. All right? Very interesting. Michelle Davis in the house. Good to see you. Anyway, oh, by the way, while they're struggling with that information, did you hear about the $450 million Da Vinci painting stolen in Zurich? What? A $450 million painting by Leonardo da Vinci of Jesus Christ, stolen from the museum, gone, disappeared. And guess who owned it? What? The Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. Do you think this was a payback? Do you think somebody was poking him in the eye? Do you think this was a get back here? There it is. That is the Leonardo da Vinci painting. I think it's called the Salator. I can't remember the name of that one. But yeah, it's gone. $450 million. He was letting it be in a, there it is. It was on the wall at a museum in Zurich, and it just walked out somehow. It just disappeared. And the owner of this $450 million painting is the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. Now, that is wild, okay? And yeah, the Salvator Mundi. Thank you, the Salvator Mundi. Unbelievable. I'm sure that the Saudi Crown Prince, not in a good mood this morning. Some people call that, some people say that's the Antichrist painting. That's true. I've heard that said before, that's called the Antichrist painting. That's just a name people say, but I'm just telling you, this painting by Leonardo da Vinci was stolen. Okay, it's gone. $450 million worth. So not a good day for the Saudi Crown Prince. Oh, by the way, and who walked it out of there, and how does that happen? Oh, by the way, did you hear that President Trump may be getting ready to cause an avocado apocalypse in 3 weeks? An avocado apocalypse. And I'm not joking about this. This is what the left is saying. Some on the left are saying that if President Trump closes the border of Mexico, if he shuts down the border, I'm talking about shutting down all the traffic going in and out of the country of Mexico, if he just shuts it down, that within 3 weeks' time, we would have an avocado apocalypse. There'd be no avocado really left for anyone to eat. And this is, and I'm not joking, this was actually a news report just recently on mainstream media. This is how crazy things are getting, okay? An avocado apocalypse could be caused by President Trump, is what they're saying on the lamestream media. I love avocados. They're good. I mean, they're delicious. But what is going on? Oh, and by the way, we got to talk about Venezuela. Can I have some coffee? Has everybody got coffee? I know everything seems like apocalypse today, doesn't it? It's crazy. You got the apocalyptic water spout, the water tornado in Malaysia, and you got explosions in Texas, explosions in Russia, and you got apocalyptic weather, man-made weather, climate change, and you got the avocado apocalypse. You got everything. Oh, by the way, Venezuela, we got to pray for these folks. Seriously, guys. Millions, I mean millions of people don't have water. Millions and millions of people without water in Venezuela. It is a serious situation developing there. This is getting way out of control, and it's not getting any better. And I don't see how it's going to get any better as long as Maduro's there, and as long as Guaido. And now Maduro is saying that he's telling the Supreme Court in Venezuela just passed a ruling that Juan Guaido is out of order and that he should be removed from their legislature, and they're getting ready to arrest this guy. Now, Juan Guaido's wife got out of the country and went to Washington, D.C. and sat in the White House and met with President Trump pleading for help. Okay, so the president under a lot of pressure, I'm talking about President Trump under a lot of pressure, what do? Do you send in a military intervention into Venezuela to rescue these people? Trump doesn't really want to do that. You just don't want to go around, get involved in every situation. But at the same time, Russia's now setting up shop in there. They're going to keep Maduro in power. Well, the country's just going to go into another 20 years of absolute starvation. Seriously. I mean, you turn this thing into a communist nation, basically. How are they going to make it? But Russia wants the gold. They wants all those gold mines. Russia wants the diamond mines. Russia wants the oil wells. And so let's see what happens. And China wanted it all. China wanted all those things. And Russia's going to slip in underneath China and take it, is what it looks like. Will China let that happen? And is Trump going to let it happen? And so, and if Trump sends in troops, people are going to get upset about why are we sending troops to Venezuela. So this is a really, really strange situation we got seeing going on right now. The people are suffering from this socialism, and the wheels are coming totally off. Yeah, I think they have copper also, and a lot of other precious minerals, by the way, precious stones and precious metals. I mean, this country's filled with resources and no way to handle it because they have no stable government, no way to deal with it. They had it. It was going great till Hugo Chavez took over and took everybody's guns away. Stay focused, everybody. Stay focused. And the suffering and so what do we do? What should we do? How do you get rid of Maduro, or do you? It's just out of control. But wait, there's more. You talk about out of control. India is fighting with Pakistan. And India went in and did an assault attack on 7 Pakistani outposts in Kashmir, killing 3 and injuring 24 in a chaotic scene. A military strike by India on Pakistani outposts. Guys, this is going to get real bad. This is going to get real bad. Dan Johnson wants to know, Pastor Begley, where's your next prophecy conference? My next prophecy conference next weekend, South Bend, Indiana, at the Christian Center in South Bend, Indiana, where Dr. Lester Sumrall was pastor. I'll be preaching there this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock and again at 1 o'clock on Saturday morning. A prophecy conference, South Bend, Indiana, at 10 o'clock and again at 1 o'clock. And then also, I'll be preaching the Sunday morning worship service in South Bend, Indiana, Sunday morning at the Christian Center. They're in South Bend, Indiana. Beautiful church. Dr. Lester Sumrall was the pastor there. And it's just an honor. It's a great honor to be invited back. I preached a conference there 2 years ago, and they've invited me back. So this coming Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern, I'll be in South Bend, Indiana. Sister Heidi will be with me as well at 10 a.m., again at 1 p.m., and then again Sunday morning worship, okay? I'm looking forward to a great weekend in South Bend. Guys, the Kashmir situation, out of control. India, Pakistan. Will Pakistan retaliate? And oh, by the way, you don't want this. If India and Pakistan go into a war, both these nations have nukes. Both these nations have nukes. And they, here we go again. India destroys these Kashmir outposts. Again, we're dealing with both these nations. This is going to get ugly. But wait a minute, there's more. Let's talk about the before I go any further, let's go straight to the Bible now. Go to Daniel chapter 7 for a moment. Let's talk about the beast is about to rise, the 10 nations, the 10 toes, and how we're talking about this. Daniel 2 gives you that kingdom that Nebuchadnezzar saw, that Daniel interprets for him. And then in Daniel 7, let's read it. Here's what it says, Daniel 7. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions, and his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel spake, said, I saw in my vision by night, behold, there were 4 winds of heaven, strove upon the great sea. The 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. Now again, this is the latter day. These are the latter day kingdoms. These are the kingdoms of the last days. The lion would be, without question, Great Britain. And the eagle's wings would be the United States of America that was plucked up off of the lion's back, which we were, and we declared our independence in 1776. So the first was like a lion. It had eagle's wings, and beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And that, what did those wings do? They were lifted up from the earth, made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. It became its own strong nation. Number 5, verse 5 says, and behold, another beast, a second beast, like unto a bear. It raised up itself on one side. It had 3 ribs in its mouth, and between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise and devour much flesh. This would be Russia and the power of Russia in these end times. The third beast, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now, as I have said for the last couple of years, that is Germany. Germany is the kingdom, the strong man of the European Union, if you will. And you see Britain trying to Brexit, but they can't really ever Brexit. And you'll see here in a minute when I share something with you. And you see the Leopard rise up. Matter of fact, Germany had tanks called Leopard tanks. They're still some of the best tanks in the world. And the Leopard is also one of the major divisions of military within Germany. It is a and also this Leopard has 4 wings of a fowl on its back. Well, France, its image it goes by is the rooster. It is a fowl, and that rooster rides the back of this leopard. So, in other words, France stays always with Germany, just keeps riding along with whatever Germany says to do, it will do. And that's why you see Emmanuel Macron riding right along with Germany and Angela Merkel, and how they both turned on Trump so quickly, okay? I mean, they really did. And that's part of what's going to happen in the last days, as the beast will turn on the woman in Revelation 13, and Revelation 12 tells you that the woman is Israel, and that will be attacked by this beast. And then read on. Look what it says. It says also, then there's a 4th beast. Well, what is this? This is the beast kingdom. Here's what it says. After this I saw in the night visions, behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. It had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces It stamped the residue with the feet of it. It was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. 10 horns. Well, what is this beast? Well, this beast had 10 horns, and then a little horn comes up among it, which is verse 8. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there was 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. So who are the 10 horns, and who is the Antichrist? The little horn's the Antichrist. All right. Now we've identified Great Britain, Russia, and Germany. We've also identified France riding along with Germany, and we've identified the United States plucked up off the back of Great Britain, and it's the wings of an eagle standing on its own 2 feet with the heart of a man. Now go with me to Revelation 13. Let me show you what I mean by the beast is about to rise, and 10 nations and 10 toes may have just organized. I think they just did, and I'm going to share it with you. Here's what it says in Revelation 13. Do you want to hear this? I want to welcome all 1,700 of you with us live here today. This is a prophecy alert, a prophecy alert. Here's what it says in Revelation 13. Revelation 13 said, I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise about the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon those 10 horns were 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name blasphemy. This is the Antichrist, New World Order, one world government. This is the beast kingdom. And the beast which I saw was likened to a leopard. There's Germany. Its feet were as the feet of a bear. That is Russia. And his mouth is the mouth of a lion. That is Great Britain. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Now let me say this again. This is not the German people. This is not the Russian people. This is not the Great British people. The Great British people even voted to Brexit out of this European Union, and their leaders won't let them leave. 3 years of Theresa May, she won't get them out. So she's going to just quit. And they're going to do what's called a hard Brexit, which means no signed document that you ever left. You know why it's never going to be signed that you ever left? Is because you never left. Your leaders won't let you go. It's not the people's fault. It's not the people's fault. The leaders have failed the people. Thank you. That's exactly right. The leaders are part of the Illuminati, and they will not let the people go free. And it was prophesied in our Bible. We should not be shocked by this. We're watching it unfold in front of you before your very eyes. Now get this. Oh, by the way, guess what? Russia, guess what? You know what NATO's for? NATO was formed to protect the European nations from Russia. Well, guess what? The European Union leaders don't want to do it no more. They don't want to fund it no more. That's why Trump said, do you guys want to have NATO or not? Why aren't you paying your bills? Why are we doing this all to protect you? And then he said to Angela Merkel, Donald Trump said this to Angela Merkel. Listen to me closely. He says to Merkel, why are you wanting me to pay for your protection from Russia when you're buying all of your oil from Russia? Russia's not going to attack you. You're joining him. You're buying you could be buying that oil from us. Why aren't you buying it from us? We can even provide it to you cheaper. Look at Texas. It's cranking oil like crazy. Texas is the number 3 producer of oil in the world. The United States is now number 1. We went over top. We're putting more oil out now than Saudi Arabia. We were always going to do this. We had tons of oil. Why did our politicians for the last 40 years not use our own oil, but keep buying it from everybody else when we had more oil than anybody? We've been sitting on ungodly amounts of oil, folks. Are you serious? We're the most richest nation in the world with resources. And Merkel says, and so you know what they're doing? They're not going to fight with Russia. Russia's joining them. The beast, look at folks, the leopard, the bear, and the lion are going to come together. And oh, by the way, we know that Theresa May and Angela Merkel, they go way back. Okay? They're joined at the hips. So you can know this. This beast kingdom is forming. Now, as this is going on, you can see the three main countries pulling together, but there's 10 kings. Now let's go back to the vision I had. I had a vision about it was a dream. So I had this dream where I was up on a balcony in some kind of a building. I'm up on a second floor like balcony. I'm looking down and I see all of these diplomats down on the floor, and they're all walking, kind of pushing forward, trying to get to the front. There was one person I saw, a man looked like maybe in his 30s or so, who was trying to work his way through the crowd to get to the front of the crowd. He was pushing and kind of squirming his way through. But as he was going, he was identifying individuals. He was pointing at them. So this was a crowd of maybe 200 people, but he was working his way through them, identifying people, making eye contact and pointing. And the Lord revealed to me that I was watching the Antichrist working his way to the top, and was identifying the 10 kings that were going to be, he would give power to them in 1 hour with the beast, which is what it says in the book of Revelation 17. You guys remember, RoboMom says, I remember, Pastor. I shared this. It's been about a little over a year ago that I seen this. Now, guys, I seen this in early 2017. Well, get this. The United Nations, the European Union decided to form a brand new entity called the European Union Intervention Initiative. The European Union Intervention Initiative. And it is made up of 10 countries. And they are going to form a EU army. Intervention Initiative. So these 10 are going to pull together to make an army. They don't need NATO no more. They don't want the United States. They don't want us in it. Okay? They don't want anything to do with us anymore. They want to be in power of their own army, their own initiative. And so just last November of 2018, the 10th nation just signed. I want to share this with you. Now, if you're watching me right now and you live in any of these 10 nations, this is not about you. This is about the government structures. We've dealt with corruption in our swamp here in Washington for a long time. The Illuminati's been sitting there with his hand in the sop since Judas Iscariot. Okay? We know the son of perdition. We know that the spirit of darkness is trying to destroy every nation. That is Satan's job. That's what he's trying to do. So here we go. Are you ready? This new initiative, first of all, you need to understand, these were the 10 nations that signed up. First of all, Germany, number 1. Germany and Merkel, and France, number 2. They were the first two to form this European Union initiative. They're breaking away from the United States and NATO. They want to do this thing on their own. So, by the way, Germany and France, well, Germany's the leopard, and the rooster, the wings are riding on its back. So here they go, 1, 2. Then, who was next? Belgium joined it. Well, who's in Belgium? Who's in Brussels? The European Union headquarters, being totally led by who? NATO. So you knew that Belgium was going to be a part of this. They are, okay, that's where the EU headquarters is. So Belgium is on board. Then Denmark signed up. They're number 4. All right. Then Estonia signed up. They're number 5. Then the Netherlands signed up. They're number 6, the Netherlands. Then Portugal signed on as number 7. And then Spain signed on to be number 8. And then the United Kingdom signed on to be number 9. The UK, that's the lion. That's also part of the main body of this beast. Well, here it is. It's also in the 10-nation alliance of this new initiative. And then there was one more country needed to sign. One more. And Italy, get this, Italy signed a letter of intent that they were going to join, but when it came time to join, Italy changed their mind and backed out and said, you know what, we don't want nothing to do with this. And they backed out. And I'm going to tell you why they backed out in just a moment. So they had to get a 10th nation, and Finland just signed on and took Italy's place as the 10th nation of what's called the EU, the European Union Intervention Initiative. These 10 nations look like are the 10 horns on this beast that has 7 heads, made up with this leopard, this lion, and Brock.
Yeah, top of the hour.
Oh, sorry, Brock. I was getting really into this, guys. I know there's almost 2,000 of you here. Can you come back? Can you stay right here with me? We'll be right back in about 3 minutes with hour number 2. I'll pick it up right where I left off.
There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. When I hear that trumpet sound, I'm gonna get up out of the ground. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Look way down the river, what do you think you see? I see a band of angels, and they're coming after me. Well, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Look down yonder, Gabriel, put your feet on the land and see. Gabriel, don't blow that trumpet until you hear from me. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Well, meet me, Jesus, meet me. Meet me in the middle of the air. And if these wings don't fail me, I'll meet you anywhere. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Well, meet me, mother and father, down by the river road. Mama, you know I'll be there. I'm a-checking in my load. Well, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Oh, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down.
I'm so thankful to have this opportunity, folks, to tell you about a brand new music CD called The Journey. Every song has been absolutely godly inspired to touch the heart and soul of every person. Go to my website at paulbegleyprophecy.com. Get it now, because these songs will inspire you in your walk of life. The Journey, we're all on it, and this music CD will literally change your soul.
Women of Faith gather in Louisville for an event you won't forget. The Still Standing Women's Conference, hosted by Heidi Bagley. Be encouraged by powerful testimonies from women who have overcome tragedies and are still standing. You can become stronger through trials because of the power of the Holy Spirit within you. Heidi will be joined by inspirational speakers Carolyn Rankin and Elena Ware. Register today at paulbegleyprophecy.com, April 13th at Noah's Event Venue in Louisville.
Oh yeah, we're back. We're back. Hey, you know what? Can I just pour myself a little bit of coffee here? Are you serious? What? Yeah, this explosion in Texas, really, really bad. I had to go down there and just get a pot of coffee from these people. I just said, guys, can I have a pot of coffee? What? I'm sorry, but what are you gonna do? You know, I can't run up and down the stairs and stuff for a cup. So anyway, here we go. Back to where we're at. I'm here. I'm live here in Dallas, Texas. I want to say, God bless all of you. Are you serious? Unbelievable. Oh yes. So anyway, so the 10 nations have signed on to this European Union Intervention Initiative. In other words, the EU Army, removing itself underneath the United States' leadership and forming their own kingdom, the horns of the beast kingdom. And matter of fact, the Bible tells you then they will begin to speak blasphemous, turning away from God and speaking the words of the beast. Now, the formation of this beast kingdom is on its way. The 10 toes, the 10 kings, the same thing. The 10 toes, the 10 kings, the 10 crowns on those kings, they're going to be made kings in 1 hour with the beast. The beast system, the beast kingdom is in formation. And so, again, if you live in one of those nations, you're watching me right now, don't freak out. You just, look, it isn't about you. It's about what these guys are going to do. You get yourself ready. That's why I did that DVD, Rapture Ready. You get yourself ready. The bride needs to make herself ready. I preached this Sunday down here in Dallas. The Lamb's wife needs to make herself ready. He told you to watch and pray, okay? Because these things are coming upon the earth. Now, what about America? Where did America go? Where did the eagle's wings? Nowhere to be found in this beast system. Nowhere in here. Matter of fact, we're pulling away. We're standing with Israel. And here's what happened, guys. I got breaking information. If you go with me to the book of Revelation again, now go back to chapter 12. Go to chapter 12. We've had our September 23rd, 2017. We had our constellational sign in the heavens, where the Bible said, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven. A woman was clothed with the sun. The moon was under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. 12 tribes of Israel. The woman is Israel. She being with child, cried, travail in birth, pain to be delivered. There appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, there was this great red dragon. Here we go. Here comes this beast kingdom, having 7 heads and 10 horns, which is exactly what we just read to you in Revelation 13. And this beast had crowns upon its heads, okay? And its tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, did cast them down to the earth. The dragon stood before the woman, Israel, which was ready to be delivered for the devour her child as soon as born, Jesus Christ the Messiah, trying to kill the seed, trying to stop Jesus Christ of Nazareth from coming into the world. And so as Israel then becomes a nation, we understand she comes under great persecution, okay? And it says that in Matthew 24, it says, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. All right? He said, immediately after you see that abomination of desolation, he said, let them that are on the housetop not to go down and get your stuff. Get out of there. Every one of you in Judea. He even tells you who. The Jews of Judea. Flee into the wilderness. Go. Pray that your flight be not in the winter, nor on the Sabbath day. These are Jews. Okay? And as you flee into the wilderness, the Lord is going to protect the woman. Well, look at that was Matthew 24. Now go to Revelation 12. Look what it says that he does for the woman. This great dragon. Who's the dragon? It's Lucifer. All right? Whatever's going on in the spiritual world manifests in the physical. Look at verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, just like Jesus said she's going to do in Matthew 24, and even tells you it's the Jews that live in Judea. Can I tell you something? Who lives in Judea? Judea is the West Bank. Judea is the West Bank. That is where Rabbi Yehuda Glick lives. He lives in Judea. And he's the Knesset member of the Jews that live in Judea, which is 850,000 Jews. And when this two-state solution gets signed, this peace deal comes around, these Jews won't be living in Israel no more. They're going to be living in Palestine, a new state. Yet they're still Jews. They're not going to leave. They're going to stay there. That's where their homes are. And and they're going to stay there. But when the abomination of desolation takes place at the 3.5 year period of the tribulation period, whenever this happens, when Jesus warned about it, immediately this tribulation starts. Okay, when this takes place, these Jews are going to have to flee out of the West Bank. They're going to flee into the wilderness. So that's probably down in the Jordanian Valley, probably into Petra. We're not sure. But there's going to be a lot of them getting slaughtered because it's going to be a Holocaust. A bunch of them are going to get killed, but a lot of them are going to get out of there. They're going to get protected because the eagle's wings. Let's read on. How long does this go on? How long does this woman have to flee? We'll read it. The woman fled in the wilderness where she was prepared of God that they should feed her there 1,203 score days. That's 1,260 days. And the Jewish calendar is 360 days a year. So that 1,260 days is 3.5 years. They're going to be in the wilderness, protected by who? Well, let's read on. I'll find it for you. Go to verse 7. There was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought with his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And in verse 9, who's the great dragon that we've been talking about? The great dragon was cast out. Who? The old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So that's why there's this whole master plan, this whole Illuminati plan, this whole new world order, this beast kingdom was designed by Lucifer himself. That's why a lot of times we call them Luciferians that are involved in the secret plan of Satan. Are you still hanging with me? Because where's America? Hang on. Look at verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. And for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. These are Jews getting saved because they come to the realization who the Messiah is. How did they come to this realization? Because when the temple gets built, the Bible tells us that there's 2 witnesses who start preaching in the streets of Jerusalem. Read it for yourself in Revelation 11. And they preach Yeshua is the Messiah. And literally, the greatest revival in history will happen as 144,000 Jews accept Christ as their Savior simultaneously from all 12 tribes of Israel. And it's not just these 144,000 Jews. There's a whole lot more that get saved. You're talking about the whole nation of Israel will receive the Messiah. But also, great revival breaks out from all over the world because it tells you in the Bible The Bible tells us in Revelation 7. Go there with me. Okay? If you read Revelation 7, it tells you that there's these 12,000 people from 12 different tribes of Israel, 144,000 Jews, all come to Christ through the blood of the Lamb. And then it tells you who. Then the prophet says, cried with a loud voice and said, salvation to our God. Said, after you get to the tribe of Benjamin, we're sealed 12,000. Then it said, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne, before the Lamb, clothed in their white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. So first the Jews have this massive revival, and then the Gentiles have this global revival, all happening in these last days. And the angel stood up and said, round about the throne, and the elders and the four beasts fell before the throne, and their faces worshiping God, and saying, amen, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our God forever and ever, amen. And get this, and one of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these? Who are all these Gentiles from all these nations? What are these arrayed in these white robes? Whence came they? And the Bible says, and I said unto him, sir, thou knowest. And he said unto me, these are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and have made them white in the blood of the Lamb. All right, this is who they are. Now get this, where's America? Please tell me, where's America? Well, go with me to Revelation 12. Let's find the wings of the eagle. Let's find it. And so all this is going on. Satan's going to be attacking the woman. And it says right here, look up here. I'm in Revelation 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell on the earth. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that his time is but short. Here we go. Tribulation, persecution, like we've never seen. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. He persecuted Israel for bringing the Messiah into the world. And the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, just like it said, where she's nourished for a time and times and half a time, or 3.5 years. From the face of the serpent, she's protected from the beast kingdom by who? The United States of America, of course by God. But God uses people, uses leaders, and we accept our role, America. But folks, do you know how close America was from joining the beast kingdom? Do you realize how close we came? Do you understand what happened? How close we were, and how we're still fighting an internal battle in the swamp, and how that still our nation, the church, is being persecuted, and how the church of Laodicea is riding right alongside the church of Philadelphia, just like Dr. Jack Van Impe taught many years ago, that in the last days there would be the church of apostasy, the great whore, and there would be the bride of Christ, and they'd be riding along beside each other, and then finally the great falling away would come. They would peel away from each other. It's happening right before your very eyes. The beast kingdom is rising. The 10 toes, I believe, may have just got identified. I was talking to Dr. Irvin Baxter about this yesterday. We had a lengthy discussion about it. We even did 2 television shows. We talk about it, and we say we're not 100% sure that this is the 10 toes, but we're to the point that we're willing to say it definitely looks like it could be. And we even named these 10 nations because they signed up and they match the Bible. Here's the thing about it. They match, including the 3 big ones, the leopard, the lion, and the bear. We see this all coming together. We see the toes coming together. We see the beast rising. We understand we're in the end times, and we're not afraid of it. we're not. The Bible says my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Look, we know Israel's going to survive this, but these Jews there will be a two-state solution. I don't want it. You don't want it. I don't want it. You don't want it. Let me say it again. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. We shouldn't do it. God told them don't do it, but they're going to do it. And Jesus knew it. He prophesied it. He said, look, it's coming. You're going to have to flee. You guys in Judea, you're in the West Bank. You're going to be fleeing. But don't worry. The wings of eagle is going to protect you during that 3.5 years. And the rest of Israel will not fall. As a matter of fact, guys, you can go to, look, I'm giving you the whole ball of wax here almost. As a matter of fact, you can go to Zechariah 12. You know that Jerusalem becomes this cup of trembling just before they sign this peace agreement. And guys, I don't know if there's going to be a Psalms 83 war before they sign a peace agreement, or will there come this battles at the midway point after they sign the agreement? And then again, is this agreement that gets getting ready to be revealed by Trump, does it even get signed? Or do we got to wait another 10 years before someone else brings the agreement? You know, who knows exactly? No one does. I'm just saying that when you see it signed and it's shaping up with a two-state solution that divides this thing with Gaza and West Bank being part of the Palestinian state, maybe a sliver of East Jerusalem. I think there's going to be a little sliver. That's why when in Zechariah 14, when Jesus comes, when the Bible says the Messiah comes and stands on the Mount of Olives, and there's a mighty earthquake that kills 7,000 people in Jerusalem, well, that's about how many people live in that little slither in East Jerusalem. Okay, about 7,000. So that's probably what will happen. And that makes sense. That matches actually, exactly where they're going to draw these borders. But you can believe this, the Golan Heights is never, ever, 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 ever going to go back to Syria. That is staying with Israel. And that Jerusalem shouldn't get divided, but they might take a sliver and give it to the Palestinians to call their capital. I'm going to tell you why the Jews are going to do it. They shouldn't do it, but they're going to do it. The reason they're going to divide the land, the reason why they're going to let them have a Palestinian state, is they want to build the third temple. And the only way they're going to build that temple is to give the Palestinians their own nation. And so it's going to happen. And it was already prophesied it is going to happen. And that's why Jews are going to have to flee. Okay, because there are going to be 850,000 of them living in the West Bank who will have to flee. But the Americans will be there to protect them. And so, because we're not going to be a part of the beast system. And I want to say that again. The United States will not be a part of the beast system. As hard as the swamp is trying to drag us into it, is corrupt and as wicked, and the Illuminati and everybody's trying. Guys, listen, the Bible plainly tells you it's exactly coming down exactly as I'm telling you. It's unbelievable. And so in these last days, the church, and let me tell you how responsible we are as Christians. We have to take this gospel to the world. And we've also got brothers and sisters who's going to be in the beast system. They're going to be living in the world under this system. Christian brothers and sisters who are not wanting to be a part of this thing, that are going to need our prayers. They're going to need our prayers. Good people. It's corrupt global elitists that are going to try to, it's Lucifer, it's his plan to destroy the people of the world. This is the time of the 10 toes nations. It's forming right before our very eyes. We're in the last days. Is this going to start a war? Yes. It's going to definitely. And you know that the battle of Gog and Magog is coming. Very nations that are going to come over the Golan Heights to fight Israel, they're there. Iran, Russia, Syria, and others that jump in. In the final days, there, of course, is the great battle of Armageddon. And so this is so important that people understand that we are living in the end times. A couple more things happened I want to share with you. Brock and I talked about it. Oh, India did more than have a fight with Pakistan. Hang on a second here, because I'm going to come back to the 10 toes. One more thing. India also shot down one of their satellites yesterday. They've launched 28 new satellites that circle the Earth, but they had an old one up there they didn't want, and they shot this thing down with a rocket and hit it. But it exploded, and the parts from that exploding satellite are now drifting toward the International Space Station. Are you serious? And so the people in the International Space Station are freaking out because all this debris, this space junk, is threatening the International Space Station. It's just an incredible situation. Incredible situation. But wait, there's more. Space junk everywhere. What? Oh, by the way, the Afghanistan president resigned today, and he's going to be out of office by the 29th of April. I think this is a deal being made for the Taliban. Okay, so there's some more deals going on right now with Excuse me, I said Afghanistan. I'm wrong. That was Algeria. I'm sorry. It's the Algerian president. The Algerian president has resigned and will be out of office by April 29th. Algeria's president resigned. I apologize for that mistake. By the way, a hot air balloon this morning in California crashed into some power lines and has severely injured 3 people. They were burned as they come crashing to the ground on a hot air balloon. This took place in California today. Please pray for these people, the severely injured. And also, I got one more breaking news about this. I got huge news to share with you about the 10 toes and the beast kingdom on the rise. I got one more story I need you to pray about. In Canada, up in Vancouver Island, there was a 7-year-old boy playing in the backyard when a cougar, a mountain lion, jumped over a 7-foot fence down into the backyard and attacked the 7-year-old boy, brutally attacking him, and was basically mauling him. And his mother heard his screams, and she looked out the window and saw her son, Zach Bromley, 7 years old, playing with his in the backyard, and he's being mauled by this cougar mountain lion that came over the fence. What did this woman do? This is unbelievable. Her name is Chelsea. Chelsea saw this attack and the terrible thing. She ran out of the house, screaming at the top of her lungs, and she jumped on the back of the mountain lion, put her hands in the mountain lion's face, and pried his mouth off of her son, he had latched onto the son's arm at that point. She stuck her hands in his mouth and pried his jaws off of her. Now, the lion turned and bit her, but she just kept wailing on it, and this lion took off running and jumped over the fence and left the backyard. When it left, then they saw there was another big cat, even bigger than this cougar, that was standing there watching as the smaller cougar, which was still a grown cougar, but there was even a bigger one that was watching what was going on. And so the woman then, of course, was able to call 911. They got her and the boy to the hospital. And she, look, bottom line is this. They both survived. It's just incredible. Just incredible. The boy is still in ICU, and he's in serious condition. The mother is also stable. But she beat down this cougar. Don't mess with a woman when you try to take her baby. That is the power of God. She gave the glory to God, and He gave her superhuman strength to take out a lion. Trust me, guys. I told you, there's going to be miracles this year they're going to be unexplainable. They're going to be so unbelievable that no one can say. All you can say is that's a miracle of God, and that's the kind of thing that we're going to see happening in these end times. Now, back to the 10 toes and the 10 kings. There's another breaking news I have for you. This should show you the beast kingdom is rising. This info just came out this morning. The Arab League is saying that they stopped 40 nations from moving their embassies to Jerusalem. There were 40 nations that were going to move their embassies to Jerusalem after President Trump declared that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and that the United States was moving its embassy, and Trump was saying everybody needs to understand it. Israel is here to stay. There were nations that were going to do it. But all of a sudden, they all put the brakes on. The Arab League said that it did a job with the international community and stopped 40 countries from relocating their embassies to Jerusalem. The Deputy Secretary General Hussam Zaki said, he stressed that the Palestine is not alone in this struggle against the Israeli occupation. These are his words. Quote, all the Arab countries need to stand beside it, talking about Palestine. He said, noting there would be a lot to be achieved if there was a political will. Well, speaking to Al Arabia TV, he said that the American recognition of Israel's sovereignty over what he called occupied Syrian Golan Heights is null and void. He's declaring that Trump is wrong. The Golan Heights does not belong to Israel. He noted that the European Union, Russia, China, and all of the world have rejected the United States assigning itself as the guardian of international law. Now, there was a meeting held then, an emergency meeting was also called in the United Nations Security Council. There are 15 members of the United Nations Security Council. 14 nations voted no, that the Golan Heights belongs to Israel. Only one nation voted yes, it belongs to Israel, and that nation was the United States. France voted no. That's the rooster. Russia voted no. That's the bear. Great Britain voted no. That's the lion. Germany voted no. That's the leopard. And the rest of the countries did as well. 14-1. Prophecy unfolding before your very eyes. 40 nations were going to go, but they all got scared and they stayed with the global elitist. The beast is rising. The 10 nations, the 10 toes could be now officially lined up. We're going to wait and see. But I can tell you this thing is coming together it's like the pieces of the puzzles of the last days is happening so fast, guys. You can't keep up with it on a daily basis now. It's an hourly basis now. And the things that Dr. Jack Van Impe used to preach about, saying someday you're going to see this 40 years ago, he ain't saying that no more. We're not saying that no more. I was talking to Brother Baxter about that yesterday. We were having dinner last night. And I said, man, remember when Jack Van Impe said, and there's a day coming, you're going to see this, and a day coming, you're going to see that. We ain't saying that no more. He goes, no, we ain't saying that no more. We're saying today, here's what's happening. Today, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening right now. Here's what they did last week that we didn't even know they did in secret. We're finding out. And it's all matching the Bible. This is the absolute greatest time to be alive. If there was ever a day you need to be ready to be caught up to be with the Lord, it's today. I mean, folks,